Hey everyone, welcome to the December community call of ToolJet. I would like to welcome each and every one of you for joining this call today. And in today's call, we'll be building an AI assisted ATS using Supabase and OpenAI. So without any further ado, let's jump on to the agenda of the call. So we'll be starting the call with a quick application overview. Then we'll show you the Supabase table schema, and then we'll jump onto the app builder to build the UI of the application. We'll also integrate OpenAI APIs to extract the data from the candidate's profile. Then we'll create and connect the Supabase queries to store the data. Lastly, we'll be opening the session for Q&A. Before we move forward, I would like to give a quick shout out to all the template contributors of ToolJet. They've done amazing job contributing to the ToolJet templates, and if you want to join them, feel free to check out our latest community template issues. Now let me show you a quick demo of the application that we're going to build. So this is the homepage of AI Applicant Tracking System that we're going to build. Right now we are on job board page where you can manage your jobs. You can add your jobs, fill up your details and hit submit. Next up we have the add candidate page. Here you can select your resume. For example, let me take this resume. Then you can select the role and then you can scan. It will scan using AI and it will extract the data and will show up on the right hand side. As you can see, the data has been extracted successfully. And in case if you want to make any changes, you can make the changes. And if everything looks good to you, you can click on submit. You can see the candidate has been added to the database. Now you can go to candidates and you can see the candidate over here. In case if you want to update the status, you can go ahead and change the status, or if you want to change any of these details you can do that, and then you can hit update. You can see the status has been updated successfully. So this is what we are going to build. And now let me show you the table schema of Supabase, and then we'll start building the application in ToolJet's app builder. Before we move forward with building the application inside of the ToolJet's app builder, let's set up the data source first. So I'll search for Supabase and I'll add it here. I'll name it AI ATS. Then we have to enter the project URL and the service role secret over here. We'll get these details from the Supabase dashboard. You can go to Supabase, go to project settings, go to API, and here you'll see the project URL. Just copy the URL and paste it here. Next, you want to get the service role secret. You can click on reveal and copy and click on edit and paste it over here. You can test the connection once. You can see the connection has been verified. Now you can save this. And now let's go ahead and start building the application inside of the ToolJet's app builder. Let's start with creating the pages. So as I showed in the demo, we'll be having three pages. First is the job board, second is add candidate page, and third is candidates page. So this will be the job board page, which will be the home page. Job board. Then second is the add candidate page, and third is the candidates page. Let's go to job board and let's start with the header. So let's drag and drop the container component, stretch it full. Okay, cool. Let me change the color to the shade of blue. Awesome. Now let me add the header, that is applicant tracking system. I have to change the style to 20, bolder and white. Let's add the header to all the pages. go to add candidate. Then let's add two candidates. So we'll be adding three buttons: job board, add candidate, and candidates in the top header for navigation. Let's drag and drop the first button, name it to job board, put it inside of the container, change the background color to a shade of blue, and yeah, let's increase the width and also change the border radius to 100. Okay, cool. We also have to add an event handler to switch the page and make it job board. Cool. Now let's copy this button component and paste it inside of all the headers. Cool. Now let's go back to job board and let's copy and paste few more buttons. Okay. And here we'll be changing it to add candidate, and this will switch the page to add candidate. Okay. Now let's copy this and paste it in all headers. So right now we're in the candidates page. Copy paste one more button, and this button will be for candidates, and on click it should go to candidates. Okay. Now let's copy this, paste it in all of the headers. Okay, cool. So we're done with the header. I think we should shift the header to little of right. Okay, cool. We have to do this in the rest of the pages as well. So let's do it. Awesome. Let's go to the job board now. And yeah, now let's start building the job board page. Firstly we need to add the header, which is similar to what we have in text one. So let's put it here, and let's change this to job board, change the color to black, and yeah, now we have to drag and drop the table component. Let's put this little above. Okay, yes, cool. Now let's change this to this. Okay, now let's add a modal, change this to add job. We have to change the trigger button label as well. Okay, now if I click, okay, now here we have to add the input fields for adding the jobs. So let's do it now. Drag and drop the text component, change this to role. Okay, now let's copy paste, change this to um experience. Then we need skills, and lastly we need a job description. So we'll be using text area for that. Mm, So for label, I'll be using the text component. It will be job description, change it to 13, and in text area we have to drag and drop the text area. Let's change it to this. Okay. Now we need to add a button, and it should be like this. This will be the submit button. Okay, cool. I think need to put it little here. Yeah, this looks good. So yeah, we are pretty much done with the UI for this. Now we'll start integrating the Supabase plugin to get and add jobs inside of the UI. The first query will be searching for AI ATS. Let's change this to get jobs and select the operation and write jobs and run the query. You can see that we've got two entries, and we'll connect the query with the table now. Okay, cool. Let's change the style to custom, and we can also hide the IDs. Cool. So you can see we got everything over here. Now we have to create one more query, which will be for uh, adding the jobs. So it will be add job, change the operation to create. It will be jobs, and here we have to add the, and here we will be adding the details which we'll be getting from these input components. So we can remove the default value, and here let's quickly add the structure in which we have to submit the data. Cool. So here we have to add role, experience, skills, and job description. So I can write components, components dot, its text input one and value. Okay. Uh, Now let's add similar thing inside of these also. Okay. So this is text input 2. We'll change it to 2. This could be 3. So this will be 3, and this will be text area 1. Okay. Awesome. Now we have to enter the details and test it once. So let's quickly uh, so before we add the details, let me also, so before we add the details, I missed one thing, that is adding loader. So we have to add a loader to this table, and to do that we can directly write, yeah, jobs and is loading. So now again we'll open this, and now let's add some details here. In role we can add software engineer 1, and experience we can add 2 years, and skills we can add all the skills which we need for the candidate. And in job description we'll add some description. Okay, now we have to run this query with the submit button. Before we run, we can check if the details are there. Yes, it's visible. So we'll be adding an event handler to run this query, that is add job. Also have to add the loading state for the same. So if we see add job is loading. Cool. In settings, we have to add three event handlers. First will be to show a success message of a job added. Okay. Now second is to close the modal. Third is to refetch the details. So we'll be running the query to get the jobs, updated jobs again. Okay. Now let's quickly test this by clicking on submit button, and you can see job is added and you can see the job added in the job board. Now next up, what we have to do is we have to start with the UI of add candidate page. Here we'll be having two containers. So let's get the container in. Cool. Let's stretch it to this. And here we'll be changing the border radius to 10, border color to light gray. Okay. Let's also add the divider component. Change the width a bit and change the color of divider as well to the same shade. Okay. Here we have to now add a text component of uh, upload resume. Okay. We have to change the size to 18 and hold on. Let's add the drop down component here like this. Okay. This will be the rules. um then we have to add the, let's change this. So yeah, now let's add the file picker component like this. And then we have to add a button. This will be the scan button. And now we'll need one more container besides this to add the data that we're extracting from the OpenAI APIs. Again, we have to change the border color to what we have for this. Border color, we have to add the same border color here as well. Cool. Now here we have to add some input components. Let's start with the first one, that is the name component. Name. Let's put it little above. Okay. Second one will be the phone. Okay. Then we have email. Then we have current org, then experience, change this to compatibility. Then last will be the AI suggestion, and that will be the text area. So that for that I have to add the text component. And this will be the add button. Okay, cool. So we are also done with the UI for this particular page. Now next is we have to integrate the queries, the Supabase query and also the OpenAI query. Let's start with the first query. So before we start integrating query, we need to add the role here. Here it should show all the roles that we have added in the job board. So for that I have to change this to dynamic options. Here you can see that we have label, value, disable, visible and default, which is an optional. So we have to add in this for particular format. So here we have to add this. So we are getting the jobs, then mapping them along, and here we'll be adding the job role, and in value we'll be adding the job ID. So yeah, so if you see, this is how the data structure will look like. Cool, awesome. So we can see we got three roles over here. Now in queries we have to add a Supabase query for before we add the Supabase query, we have to add a REST API query to process the resumes. So this will be extract data. This will be the post API query. So we'll enter the URL over here, and in headers we'll be adding two headers. First will be the content type, value will be application JSON, and second is the for authorization. Now in body we have to add a raw JSON, and here we'll be passing all the details related to the role that we have selected. For example, we have selected a senior software engineer plus architect role, and all the details related to this role we have to pass, and also we have to pass the details for basically we'll be passing the base 64 for the image that we are processing to the um, body, along with the entire prompt of what data we want to extract from the image. So let me add the body for this now. Okay. So this is how the prompts looks like right now. We have um so we are using GPT 4o mini model, and this is the prompt that I'm using. Here I have passed the values of the selected drop down. Here you can see that here is the job role, and then job role I'm passing over here. Then here is the job description I'm passing over here. If you want to check if it is getting passed or not, you can scroll here and you can see that senior software engineer architect. Then there is a description over here. So values are getting passed correctly. Let's quickly uh, test this out. Let's upload one. resume, and then run this. Cool. So we got some response. Let's just check this out. You can see that we got the current org and all other details that we have asked for inside of our prompt, and you got the response over here. Now we have to input this response inside of all of these input components. Let's do that now. So we have to add a default value for all of these. First will be the name. Okay. Second will be the phone number. Third will be the email. Then will be the current org. Then there will be experience. Okay. Then we have compatibility. Okay. Last is the EA suggestion. As you can see that we have to pass the JSON first, and then we have to navigate to the final output, because the way we are getting the response from OpenAI, we have to structure it in this way. Okay, cool. Um, so unfortunately, this candidate is not that compatible for this particular job role, because I have added the junior front end roles. I mean, I have added the resume for the junior front end engineer, and this is for senior engineer. So this is where the compatibility is lacking, and thus the candidate will be automatically rejected. Cool. Now, once you are done with this, next step would be to add the candidate to your database. And to do that, you have to add the Supabase query. Before we move forward, we are yet to connect the scan button with our event handler. So we'll be running the query for extract data, and will be the loading state. Queries, extract data is loading. Awesome. So now let's add the Supabase query. This will be to create row jobs. Here we have to add the details for each of these. So let's do that. Let's add the structure over here, and here we will be passing all the data which is there inside of all these input components. So let's begin. It will be components dot text input 1 and then value. Okay, so we have to add all these values over here as well. For phone it's text input 2, so this will be text input 2. Then for email we have text input 3, so let's put it text input 3. Then we have current org, which is text input 4, so we'll change this to text input 4. So for experience we have text input 5. Then we have compatibility text input 6. And then we have AI suggestion, which is text area 1. Cool. So you can see on left hand side that we got all the details correct. And in status, what we are doing is basically, if the compatibility score is greater or equal to 60, then only we are shortlisting, or else it will be rejected. So here we are just cutting out one more round of selection. Cool. So now let's change this to add candidate. This will be the button. This will be run query, add candidate. This also will be add candidate, and for this, you also have to run two more event handlers. So before we run the add candidate query, we also have to add get candidate query to get all the candidates. Even though we'll be needing this query in next page, but we have to get it to get the updated data in the next page. So this will be the um, get rows candidates. Let's run this quickly, and we're getting the data. All right. So now let's click on. Uh, so now before we go ahead, we just need to add success message to this, and it should be candidate added, and here it will be running the get candidate query. Also, get candidate should run on page load. So yeah, cool. So now if I click on add, you can see candidate got added. And now let's jump onto the next page, that is the candidates page. Here we have to add the header and then a table. For header, let's go to the boards, job board, and just copy this. We have to change this to candidates. Then let's drag and drop the table component. And here let's directly connect the get candidate dot data. All right, we got the data, and here we can change this to custom. In properties, we can hide the IDs, and let's put the status at the top. Okay, so we got a few entries for the candidates. For status, we want to change the color to red of the text in case if it is rejected, and in rest of the cases, let's make it green. So to do that, let's go to status and then styles, and here we can add conditional for the text color. So you can see if the cell value is rejected, it will be red, else it will be green. You can see the results over here. Cool, this is looking nice. And now let's quickly add the update button so that the person who's using the application, it could be an HR or operations person, they can easily update the data inside of the candidates table. In case if they want to add some comments, they can do that as well. So there will be a column for comments as well. So let me add it. Okay, cool. You can see that uh, the comments are empty for these, but yeah, we can work around. Now let's quickly add the action button, that is the update button. This will be date. We have to change the color to shade of blue. Okay, the color for text will be white, and we have to add the border radius, it will be 8. Okay, let's add the modal component, because once we click on the update button, it should open a modal component which will be containing all the details. So to do that, let's drag and drop the modal component, and this will be update candidate details. this is the modal, and we do not want the trigger button because we'll be triggering using this update button. So let's click here, open modal, select the modal one. All right, cool. So it is opening the modal, and now let's change the properties of modal. Let's make it small, and this should be 650. Okay, all right. Can make it 670 as well. All right. Now we have to add some details inside of this. Um, so the details that we want over here is what we have in here. So we'll be just copy pasting all these components inside of that. Just for the sake of convenience, I'll be opening it in the different tab so that I can easily copy and paste it over here. All right. So let's do it now. Let me open and update modal. Paste the text component first. That is for name. Then we have phone. Then we have email. Then we have current organization. And here then we can add our status drop down, and that will be a drop down component. Then we can add experience. Then we can add compatibility. Then we can add the AI suggestion. We'll also be having something called comments. So we'll be putting it over here like this. We have text area. Change this to a smaller one. Yeah, we'll need one more text area, and this will be for the comments. Now we just need to add one more button. I guess we need to change the height of modal to 700, I guess. Yeah. Now we can add button component, and it will be update. Cool. Um, so all the values that you can see right now are coming from OpenAI REST API query. But what we want is we want to get the data for which we have clicked the update button. So let's change this to components.table1 dot selected row dot name. So we have to change this for everyone. Okay, here we have to change it, and this will be just phone. Then we have to change this as well. This will be email. This will be current org. For drop down component, I'll be coming to this drop down component later. Let's change rest of the stuff first. So it will be experience. Okay, then there is compatibility. Cool. AI suggestion, comments. All right, cool. So we are almost done. The only thing we are left with is this drop down component, which should have some default value which is been selected. So to do that, again, we'll be using the dynamic options, which is something similar to what we have done for add candidate page. So here also we'll be adding the data structure. Yeah. So you can see that we have default as true for this particular one, and rest of the defaults are false. So yeah, this looks good, and now we can change it and update the values. So for example, if I want to update for the last one, you can click on update, and you can see all the details over here. All right, now I guess it's time to create the last query, that is the update candidate. Here we have to write update rows, table name is candidate, and it will be id equals to components table 1 selected row id. Okay, now here we have to add all the columns, so let's quickly add the columns over here. Column name will be name, phone, email, current org, experience. Then this will be status, status. Cool. Now compatibility, then we have AI suggestion, last is comments and status. Okay, so these are all the details which we have to fill now. um so we have to add the value of all this component inside of each of these columns. It will be components dot uh, text input one dot value, two, it's text input 3, then current org, we have text input 4, then we have a drop down component. Drop down component is for status, it's drop down 1. Then for experience we have text input 5, text input 6, we have AI suggestion, that is text area 1, and then we have text area 2 for comments. All right, here also we have to add 3 event handlers. First will be for success, candidate updated. Second is to close the modal. And last is to refetch the candidate details. Okay, cool. So let's connect it with this. Run update candidate. Let's add a loading state as well. All right, cool. Let's try just to let's make this hired and let's click on update. Okay, it shows candidate updated, and you can see that we have changed this to hired and it is showing over here. So yeah, this is how you can manage all your statuses. You can change the details of candidates as well. You can add your candidate using AI, and you can add your jobs from here. Now we'll be opening the session for Q&A. In case if you have any questions or queries related to the application that we have built or anything related to ToolJet, feel free to drop them in the chat. In case if you have any further questions or queries, feel free to reach out to us in our Slack channel. Thank you so much everyone for joining this call today. See you in the next one.